welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, The Bright Side Girl, and today we're going to be doing my April reading wrap-up part 2. So in case you missed it, a couple days ago I posted my space reading wrap-up because I did a space-themed readathon in April and I read like 10 space books. So I decided to separate these two and do all of my non-space books in this wrap-up and all of my space books in that one. So I'll link it up here in the cards. You can click that little eye and go check it out if you're interested. But for now, we're going to do all the regular reads that I read for the month of April. I think I read like 7 non-spacey reads for the month. For the month of April and for a little bit now, I have been trying to catch up on some unfinished series. I will also link that video up here in the cards. I have part 1 up. Part 2 is coming up very soon. I had over 50 unfinished series when I made that video. I want to knock that number down to 25 by the end of the year, and that includes any new series that I start. So I have been heavily trying to wrap up series. So that's what most of these books I have are going to be like sequels. So I have The Awakening of Sunshine Girl and The Sacrifice of Sunshine Girl. This is wrapping up the Sunshine Girl trilogy. So I'm going to talk about the first book. So the first book is about our girl Sunshine, and she moves to a new house with her mother. I think she's adopted and she knows that, and she's always had something kind of weird and special about her. And the house that they moved into basically starts acting kind of funky, and then Sunshine discovers something about herself when she discovers like ghosts and things like that. So terrible description, but I know that Paige McKenzie was like 14 when she wrote these books or something like that, and there is a popular YouTube series that is what these books are based off of. I'm a little scared to watch it because I'm kind of a chicken when it comes to ghosty things. She is also the narrator for these books because I think I did all of these that I'm going to talk about on audiobook. She did an okay job. I didn't like love her, but she did pretty good, especially being the author. I liked the first book quite a bit, but honestly the series as a whole is probably like a 3.5 star. Like, it was decent and I enjoyed it, but I don't think I will be keeping it. It's not overly creepy and spooky. It's kind of more fun and funny, and it's got the creepy elements in there, but I don't know. It just didn't scare me, and a lot of the times ghost related books kind of freak me out. Definitely like very YA vibes to it, but the love interest is pretty fun, and the backstory and things that she created as to why things are happening is really nice, and it's very impressive based on her age as well. So overall, the series I gave a 3.5. Then I finished the Archive duology by reading the Unbound by Victoria Schwab. I'll put the narrator right here for you guys. She did pretty good. Not my favorite, but I liked her overall. I wound up giving the Archive 4 stars when I read it, I think last fall. So this is about this like secret library of the dead, where there are these people that are assigned to kind of keep the dead in their place and send them to their correct homes. And they have this whole system where they keep everything in line because they can kind of come out of their chamber or whatever if they don't take care of things, and like put the souls in their proper places and help them move on. And so it's kind of unknown to society about this mysterious world, and our main character is apprenticing under this and learning about everything. I don't want to give away too much more. I thought that the idea was like super interesting, and I really enjoyed the first book. The third one, however, I just didn't like as much. Victoria Schwab's books are so dark, and not like scary or anything, but they just have a very heavy undertone about it. And the second book had a lot of like trigger warning topics, like nothing too crazy, but it was just very dark and very heavy. So I really like her ideas and her concepts, but her writing is a little bit slow for me and not my fave ever. So I wound up giving this one 3 stars, and I think I'm going to unhaul this series as well. Just because it wasn't like an all-time favorite. So hopefully I can find a Victoria Schwab win. I did like the Archive quite a bit, and it's a cool concept. I just didn't love this second book as much as I wanted to. Then I wrapped up the Warcross duology by finishing Wildcard by Marie Lu, narrator right here. This narrator does a pretty good job as well. So this one was very different than Warcross, so I'm kind of understanding more why it's got mixed reviews, and it's got a much slower beginning to it and less romance than I was expecting. But I enjoyed it, and the plot twists in here were really cool and very detailed, and I wasn't expecting them, and we get like kind of new characters in here as well. I actually really enjoyed this. I just liked Marie Lu's writing style. I really liked the very end, it wrapped up everything nicely without it being like perfect, if that makes sense. So I wound up giving this one, I think, 4 stars. I didn't like it quite as much as Warcross, but I still really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I finished it. Then I buddy read Sea of Darkness, author up here, narrator down here. This was a reread for me to get, just because I wanted to get caught up again. And this is a 4-book series about vampire pirates that I randomly saw on Hoopla, I think during Scallywagathon, which is a pirate themed readathon, and I just really wanted to check it out, and I wound up really loving it. It was like really over the top and silly, but really fun and very detailed, and it just kind of like sucks you in. I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. So I reread it with my friend Brittany, and she really liked it as well. It's just like a good palate cleanser. And so I'm very excited to continue on with the series. They only have the first 2 books on audio on Hoopla, but I'm really liking this series. The main character is really interesting. The vampire pirate main guy is super interesting, and the narrator is fantastic for this one. And then I read Cadaver Queen by Alison Kawitney, narrator right here. I reread this one to read the second one and wrap up this duology, which I haven't read yet, but I will soon. So I read this one like 3 years ago. It is a Frankenstein retelling, and I really enjoyed it, so I decided to reread it via audiobook, and it is very fun. So it's about our lead character, and I can't remember her name, so bear with me, but she is in school to like help become a doctor, and of course in this time period, I think it's in the 1800s, that's kind of like unheard of, so she's not really treated very well, so it's kind of got like a women's rights thing vibe to it. It's got a steampunk vibe because they have figured out how to make these biomechanics, which are basically they take the dead bodies and they reanimate them, and they're kind of like robot people. Like they're not like supposed to be like real humans anymore, but they're kind of like used to like help clean things up and stuff. It's very creepy. And one day she discovers a biomechanic that is more human than he's supposed to be, and it has this whole Frankenstein vibe. It's got all the Frankenstein's characters in here, but they're all twisted on their head, and the story is just like moved around. I love Frankenstein retellings, so I particularly enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars just for the fun element and the creativity, and then I need to read the second one, which may or may not follow the same characters. I'm not sure yet. It'll definitely be set in the same world with similar concepts, so hopefully I can finish this duology next month. Then I read Wayward Sun by Rainbow Rowell. This is the second book in the Simon Snow series, because the third book I think is coming out in June, which I think is the last one, hopefully. And so this has a whole thing to it. The first book, Carry On, is based off of her other book, Fangirl, which is based off of a girl going to college, and she's writing fan fiction about her favorite book series, Simon Snow, which is kind of like Harry Potter, and the fan fiction just takes off and becomes like crazy popular. And the book itself, for us, became so popular that she actually wrote out Kath's fan fiction and made it a real thing. So I hope that makes sense. I would highly recommend reading Fangirl before reading this series because you'll enjoy it even more. You get little snippets of Carry On in Fangirl. And so this is the second book, so I can't say much about it, but the first book follows Simon Snow, and he's basically in wizarding school, and he's the chosen one, and he has friends that are also wizards, and then he has an enemy named Baz, who is a vampire, and he's basically got like a Lucius Malfoy kind of personality, and it's very fun. So the second book, we're following the characters, but they're in America, and they're on a road trip, and all of this crazy stuff happens. I actually liked this one way more than Carry On. I almost didn't read it because Carry On was just slightly too copycat-ish for me, and there was just something about it that I didn't totally love, but this one I loved and wound up giving 4.5 stars. And the narrator for this is absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait for the next one to come out. This one actually made me like Carry On even more, so I just think it's really fun, and the American parts were so interesting because there were all these little pockets of America that had different magic things going on, and it was really, really great, and it's very short also, so can't wait to read the third one. And lastly, I read Lady Smoke by Laura Sebastian, narrator right here. This is the second book in the Ash Princess trilogy. I read Ash Princess last fall, I believe, and that one is following a princess whose mother was the queen, and she was slain, and then the princess was taken captive and basically has been living captive like almost her whole life when something happens and she is may be able to take back the throne. And it is way more detailed and awesome than that. The romance in here is fantastic, and I do not know where it's going. I'm completely attached to the characters. I love our main character. It's super interesting. The magic system is really detailed. They have like these different jewel magics, political intrigue and war, and a really cute prince, and like all kinds of really fun stuff in here. It's kind of brutal. I really liked this one. Probably the same amount as Princess. I think I wound up giving it 4 stars. I can't wait to read the next one, which I plan on doing very soon to finish this, but one of my favorite fantasy trilogies for sure. And the narrator is amazing. So those are the things I read for April. I got caught up, or somewhat caught up, on a lot of series, and I hope to keep doing that for the rest of the year. I'm trying to get at least 3 or 4 series wrapped up every month, which sounds like a lot, but a lot of them I only have like 1 book left, so I don't know why I've been putting them off. Let me know if you guys have a lot of unfinished series down below in the comments, and are you a series finisher? I really am if I like them. Like, there are a lot more series that I haven't finished that I just decided not to finish because I didn't like the first one, but the ones that I do like, I want to finish, because a lot of times, like Wayward Sun, the next books in the series are even better. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time on the bright side. Bye!